Music is a prevalent force in our society that can be a place of solace, comfort, and empowerment for people. Today, music has become so valued that people will spend over $100 a year on streaming services such as Apple Music or Spotify. According to Film Magazine, streaming services generated $10.1 billion in revenue. Still, there is so much that lies beneath the music industry and how the music we've all come to know and love has gotten to the ears of the public, especially for women. And that is what I would like to talk about today. In this video, I will be discussing the challenges that women face in the music industry. I have 3 talking points, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
And we're having this really interesting conversation the other day about how women can't exist in the music industry without being compared to other women. You hear things all the time like Olivia Rodrigo is the next Taylor Swift because she makes sad love songs about public relationships. Marina and the Diamonds was a knockoff Lana Del Rey. Ariana Grande was a wannabe Mariah Carey. And I was reading through the comments of this artist that I like, Dorian Electra, and all the comments were like, Walmart Billie Eilish. Maybe you guys can help me, but I can't think of a single example when this happens between men in the industry. The only example that I can think of is when people say that Tyler the Creator is the next Kanye West, but this is said with the highest of praises. I think that when these conversations happen about women in the industry, it creates and continues this notion that women only exist to be compared to one another and to be pitted against each other.
There are always comparisons in the media when it comes to female artists. For example, Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, Lady Gaga and Madonna, Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, Beyonce and Rihanna. The list goes on and on and on. Some of these media fights and rivalries are sparked by the public and an artist's fan base. They will go hard for them on social media and defend them until their last breath. For example, we have Nicki Minaj has the Barbs, Beyonce has the Beehive, and all over Twitter they will make sure that their favorite artist is being held up to the highest standard. And this can sometimes spark these feuds between artists. And also sometimes it could just be the artists themselves that are sparking the feud, such as Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. These rivalries can be harmful for women in the music industry because it indoctrinates women into believing that their career has a shelf life and the next women would be able to take their spot in a second. Personally, I always disliked seeing these comparisons in the media because it can stifle an artist from being able to find their own lane in artistry and to find the way that they want to present themselves to the public. And that can be very detrimental when you're always being compared to someone else that is already in the industry, and it can be very disheartening as well. For an example, the comparisons with Chloe Bailey and Beyonce. Now, Beyonce is Chloe Bailey's mentor, but a lot of people compare Chloe Bailey, saying that she is going to be the next Beyonce. Chloe Bailey is not going to be the next Beyonce. No one is going to be the next Rihanna. No one is going to be the next Madonna. No one is going to be the next Mariah Carey. None of that. Artists will become who they are throughout time, and I think we need to allow women the chance and the opportunity to really be able to express their art without it being compared to someone else's.
So I'm gonna need you to take off your shirt.
What sells?
Sex sells.
You gotta listen to the man in suit and ties.
Mm-hmm. But I don't want to sell my body for people to listen to my music.
3 multi-million-dollar
5 albums
contract.
too. 5, you ain't going nowhere.
But I don't want to sell my body
No.
to.
If we give you this album right here,
Right.
Your album, it's cute, but We know what's best for you.
Remember, if you want your dreams and aspirations, you gotta do what you best. This is what.
Yeah, but why do I have to be naked to sell music? I'm selling music.
Now, we already know that female artists are constantly being over and hyper-sexualized in the media. This could be mainly due to sexism and misogyny in the music industry. When it comes to sexualization in the music industry, you kind of are on the end of two spectrums. On one hand, you can be called over sexual, and in turn people will say that you being over sexualized makes you a bad role model, even though some artists don't ask to be role models, but they're put on such a high pedestal that they are expected to be a good role model. And then there are people who are good role models, but they don't sell a lot because nobody's interested in it, and sex sells. I found an article on gypsyjams.com, and I liked what they had to say about this topic. It says, pop music almost works as a mirror. The music people make in the pop genre is typically what everyone wants to hear, hence the title popular music. If the majority of people are looking to purchase material where women are flaunting their bodies and are being referred to as bad bees, what do you think pop music will produce for the audience? Pop music is a mirror because it is a reflection of the entertainment people want. If nobody wants to see a girl singing or dancing in a turtleneck, artists won't produce that kind of entertainment because simply they just wouldn't sell. Misogyny in music is also not just in lyrics or videos. Far more males are taken seriously in these industries, such as hip-hop and punk. Males dominate rap as well, leaving very limited space for women.
Since I had about 100 men calling me bitter when I made a video talking about the difficulties that women face in the music industry, I thought I would come back with the statistics, baby. Billboard. We all know Billboard. That's where you get the charting top 100 songs. Billboard did a study, a 10-year study starting in 2012, went all the way to 2021. During that time, there were 180 artists on Billboard's top 100 charts and over 1,000 songs. Of those artists, 21.8% were women and 78.1% were men. Yep, you heard that right. Over the past 10 years, only 21.8% of your favorite artists were women. Women make up 51% of the US population. According to Billboard's findings, only 12% of the songwriters included in that 10-year period were women. 12%. That's 6.8 men for every one woman songwriter. The lowest statistic of all is female producers. 2.8% of producers who had charting songs in the 10-year period between 2012 to 2021 were women. 2.8%. Shall we move on to the Grammys? In that 10-year period, women made up 13.6% of Grammy nominees. 13.6. Over the 10 years, only 9.7% of women were nominated for Album of the Year. 1.9% of women were nominated for Producer of the Year. 1.9.
A couple of years ago, there were all these studies done about basically how horrible the music industry is, particularly in regards to representation for women. I mean, the percentages of like engineers is 1%. The percentages of producers are like 3%.
So as you can see, women make up a very, very small portion of the music industry. This is part of the reason why they have to work so hard to get to where they are in the industry, because they are so underrepresented.
Yeah. And then you're going to have people who are going to say, oh, you know, like she just writes songs about her ex-boyfriends. And I think, frankly, that's a very sexist angle to take. No one says that about Ed Sheeran. No one says it about Bruno Mars. They're all writing songs about their exes, their current girlfriends, their love life, and no one raises a red flag there.
If a guy shares his experience in writing, he's brave. If a woman shares her experience in writing, she's oversharing. and she's over emotional, or she might be crazy, or watch out, she'll write a song about you.
Yeah, well, there is that.
But that joke is so old, and it's coming from a place of such sexism.
So as you can see from these last couple of clips, there are so many double standards for women in the industry. They are held up to such a high standard, but when it comes to men, few, far, and in between, they really don't have to put that much effort. They just have to make good music. Even if it's bad music, they'll still be accepted and they'll still be loved by the public. And when it comes to women, women have to be very careful about the decisions that they make in the music industry. For example, many artists have to constantly reinvent themselves, but they can't reinvent themselves to the point where they're unrecognizable or it's like way too different. They only want you to kind of incrementally evolve in your artistry without evolving too much. You know, those are my 3 points for the challenges that women face in the music industry. Let's get this conversation going. What do you guys think? Let me know. I hope you guys found this informative. I hope you guys learned something new from this video. Thank